It was 6:44 in the morning. The streets of Midtown Manhattan were just waking up. A man in a gray hoodie and a mask quietly stepped out from behind a parked car. He waited, calm, still, like he'd done this 100 times in his head. His target walked right past him, then kept walking. The masked man turned, raised a 3D printed ghost gun fitted with a homemade silencer, and fired 2 shots into Brian Thompson's back and leg. Thompson collapsed on the sidewalk outside the New York Hilton Midtown. He was rushed to Mount Sinai West Hospital, but he never came back out alive. The shooter didn't panic. He didn't run. He calmly hopped on an electric bike, rode through Central Park, hailed a cab, and disappeared, leaving behind nothing but 3 spent shell casings with 3 words scratched into the brass: delay, deny, depose. Those 3 words set off a firestorm unlike anything America had seen in years. Because the man who pulled that trigger wasn't a career criminal. He wasn't mentally ill. He wasn't desperate or broke. He was a 26-year-old Ivy League graduate from one of Maryland's wealthiest families. And a shocking number of Americans, especially young ones, didn't want him to go to prison at all. Brian Robert Thompson was born on July 10, 1974 in Minnesota. By any conventional measure, he was a success story. He'd climbed the corporate ladder over 2 decades at UnitedHealth Group, one of the largest companies in the world. And in April 2021, he was appointed CEO of UnitedHealthcare, the insurance arm of the company. As CEO, Thompson earned an annual compensation package of approximately $10.2 million, including salary, bonus, and stock awards. His personal net worth was estimated at around $43 million. He had a family. He had a home in Minnesota. He had no personal security detail the morning he was killed. What Thompson also had was a company with a reputation. UnitedHealthcare had the highest insurance claim denial rate among major U.S. insurers, rejecting approximately 32% of submitted claims, compared to an industry average of around 16%. Thompson's family confirmed he had previously received death threats. On December 4, 2024, Thompson was walking alone to the New York Hilton Midtown for UnitedHealth Group's annual investor conference. He had no idea that someone had been watching the hotel the night before and had already spotted him walking past. Luigi Nicholas Mangione was born on May 6, 1998 in Baltimore, Maryland. He didn't grow up poor. He didn't grow up angry, at least not in any way anyone could see. His grandfather, Nicholas Mangione, was a self-made multi-millionaire, a real estate developer who built nursing homes, country clubs, and hotels across Maryland, including the Turf Valley Resort in Howard County. His grandmother, Mary Mangione, was a prominent Baltimore area philanthropist who donated millions to hospitals and universities. When she died in 2023, she left behind an estate estimated at around $30 million, with a specific clause in her will. Any descendant charged with, indicted for, or convicted of a felony would be excluded from inheriting. Luigi attended the Gilman School, an elite private all-boys prep school in Baltimore. He graduated as class valedictorian. He then went on to the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League institution, where he earned both a bachelor's and a master's degree in computer science. His former roommate, R.J. Martin, told ABC News, "He was absolutely not a violent person as far as I could tell. Classmates described him as humble, quietly brilliant, and destined for great things." After graduating, Mangione worked as a data engineer at TrueCar, starting in November 2020. He left in February 2023, telling a classmate that the job paid well but was mind-numbingly boring, and that he wanted more time for reading and yoga. What followed was a period of travel, surfing in Hawaii, socializing online, posting fitness and wellness content. Then his back gave out. Mangione had been dealing with spondylolisthesis, a spinal condition where one vertebra slips forward over another. While living in Hawaii, a surfing accident worsened the injury. In July 2023, he underwent spinal fusion surgery. He posted online that the surgery went well, but according to those around him, something shifted after that. His mother filed a missing persons report with San Francisco police in November 2024, seeking information about her son's whereabouts. Friends noticed he had gone quiet online. Someone tagged him on social media months earlier, asking if he was still coming to a wedding. No reply came. What prosecutors would later uncover was that this killing was not impulsive. It was planned, methodically, deliberately, over the course of at least a year. A red notebook, described by prosecutors as a diary, was recovered at the time of Mangione's arrest. In an August 15, 2024 entry, he wrote, "I finally feel confident about what I will do. The details are coming together, and I don't feel any doubt about whether it's right or justified. The target is insurance. It checks every box." In October 2024, another entry read simply, 1.5 months. He was counting down. Mangione arrived in New York City by bus on November 24, 2024, 10 days before the killing, when surveillance cameras at the Port Authority bus terminal captured him at 9 p.m. He checked into a hostel in Midtown Manhattan under a fake New Jersey identity. The night before the shooting, December 3rd, just before 8 p.m., prosecutors say Mangione was spotted walking near the Hilton Hotel, apparently surveilling it. As he walked down the street, Brian Thompson passed him going in the opposite direction. Mangione kept walking. He already knew his target. He was just confirming the routine. At 5:34 a.m. on December 4th, Mangione left the hostel on an electric bike. At around 6:15 a.m., surveillance cameras caught him buying a bottle of water and 2 energy bars at a Starbucks on 6th Avenue, less than 30 minutes before pulling the trigger. At 6:44 a.m., he was in position behind a parked car outside the Hilton. Brian Thompson walked out of the hotel. Mangione approached from behind. According to the indictment, he fired twice, once in the back, once in the leg. After firing the shots, Mangione fled northeast on West 54th Street. He abandoned the electric bike on the Upper West Side and hailed a cab, which dropped him at West 178th Street and Amsterdam Avenue in northern Manhattan. Within 45 minutes of the shooting, he had left New York City entirely. In Central Park, police later discovered a discarded backpack containing Monopoly money and a Tommy Hilfiger jacket, items prosecutors believe he used to disguise his appearance or confuse investigators. Investigators traced him south from the GWB bus station to Penn Station, then to Philadelphia by train. Over the next several days, he traveled across Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and multiple stops in between. The NYPD put up a $10,000 reward. The FBI added $50,000. His face was everywhere. And still, for 5 days, he moved freely. On December 8th, FBI agents and NYPD detectives spoke to Mangione's mother after learning about her missing persons report and realizing the description matched the suspect photo. It all ended the next morning at a McDonald's on East Plank Road in Altoona, Pennsylvania. A customer and a worker both recognized the young man sitting inside, eating, calmly, from the surveillance photos plastered across every news channel. They called the police. When officers approached and asked him to pull down his mask, Officer Tyler Fry later testified. "As soon as we asked him to pull it down, me and my partner recognized him immediately, just from what we saw in the media. We just didn't even think twice about it. We knew that was our guy." Mangione gave police a fake New Jersey driver's license. After a brief frisk, the game was over. Recovered from his backpack, a 9mm 3D printed ghost gun, 2 ammunition magazines, multiple live cartridges, a homemade silencer, the fake ID, several $1,000s in cash, and the red notebook. When investigators read the contents of that red notebook, they found something they hadn't quite expected: a coherent, articulate argument, not the ramblings of a disturbed mind, but the calculated ideology of someone who believed he was doing something necessary. The approximately 260-word manifesto contained what prosecutors described as an apparent confession. Mangione wrote that he acted alone, that he was sorry for any harm caused, but not to everyone. He described UnitedHealthcare and the broader health insurance industry as a greed-fueled cartel and called them parasites. Frankly, these parasites had it coming. He wrote about wanting to intimidate health insurance executives, cause the public to focus on industry greed, and prevent investors from pouring more money into the sector. Critically, UnitedHealthcare never insured Mangione. Prosecutors confirmed he had no personal business relationship with the company from 2014 through 2024. The filing states he chose UnitedHealthcare solely because they were the largest health insurance company and one of the largest companies in the U.S. by market capitalization. Brian Thompson was not a personal enemy. He was a symbol. On a Goodreads account linked to Mangione, he had left a 4-star review of Ted Kaczynski's Industrial Society and Its Future, better known as the Unabomber Manifesto. He wrote that while Kaczynski was rightfully imprisoned, it was impossible to ignore how prescient many of his predictions about modern society turned out. The NYPD's intelligence analysis concluded Mangione may have found inspiration in Kaczynski's mindset of taking unilateral action against abusive corporate systems. One diary entry in particular chilled investigators. It read, "So, say you want to rebel against the deadly, greed-fueled health insurance cartel. Do you bomb the HQ? No. Bombs equal terrorism." He had thought through the optics. He wanted the public on his side. What happened next was unlike any public reaction to a murder case in recent memory. Social media exploded, not in horror, but in something closer to dark celebration. Thousands of posts mocked UnitedHealthcare. Others praised Mangione. His mugshot went viral. Fan accounts appeared overnight. People sent letters and money to his jail cell. In February 2025, Mangione broke his silence from his Brooklyn jail cell and issued an official statement of gratitude to his supporters, saying, "The support has transcended political, racial, and even class divisions." A December 2024 Economist/YouGov poll found that 43% of Americans held an unfavorable view of Mangione, while 21% viewed him favorably. Among those aged 18 to 29, support was notably higher. A separate Center for Strategic Politics poll found that younger respondents viewed Mangione far more favorably than Thompson and UnitedHealthcare. UnitedHealthcare doctors who sent out denial letters feared for their safety. Some requested their names be removed from those letters. Some UHC physicians quit their jobs. The company advised employees not to wear branded clothing in public. The killing had done exactly what Mangione wrote it would do. A show called Luigi the Musical debuted in San Francisco in 2025, sold out immediately. Meanwhile, outside the Manhattan courthouse during his hearings, protesters held signs reading, "No death for Luigi Mangione." Mangione has pleaded not guilty to all charges in both state and federal court. In New York State, he originally faced 11 charges, including first-degree murder in furtherance of terrorism. But in September 2025, a judge dismissed the 2 terror-related murder charges, ruling there was no evidence of a desire to terrorize the public or inspire widespread fear. He still faces second-degree murder. At the federal level, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, acting on a directive from President Trump to seek the death penalty wherever possible, announced in April 2025 that prosecutors would pursue capital punishment. But on January 30, 2026, federal judge Margaret Garnett dismissed both the federal murder charge and the related firearms charge, ruling that the stalking offenses did not qualify as crimes of violence needed to make the case death penalty eligible. Luigi Mangione will not face the death penalty. The state murder trial is currently scheduled to begin on June 8, 2026. The federal trial, on 2 remaining stalking charges carrying a maximum of life in prison without parole, is scheduled for September 8, 2026. Key to both cases is the evidence seized from Mangione's backpack in Altoona, the ghost gun, the suppressor, the diary. After extensive suppression hearings, Judge Garnett ruled that evidence admissible at the federal level. The state court's ruling on admissibility is expected on May 18, 2026. Here's what makes this case so difficult to put in a neat box. Brian Thompson was a real person, a husband, a father. He was 50 years old, and he was shot in the back on a sidewalk. His family sat through court hearing after court hearing. His 78-year-old mother asked the court to let the state case go first because she wanted to see justice done before it could be procedurally wiped out by a federal trial. And Luigi Mangione, valedictorian, Ivy League graduate, grandson of a self-made millionaire, made a choice. He planned it for over a year. He carved words into the bullets. He left a manifesto explaining exactly what he wanted the world to think. He got what he planned for. The world is talking. Whether that conversation looks like justice, that's something the courts, and maybe the rest of America, are still figuring out.